everybody, it's Shelley Tugas here reading chapter 14 from my novel Finders Keepers. In the last chapter, we finally learned about the connection between the Clark family and Al Capone. And in chapter 14, Krista is forced to hang out with Amelia and some of her friends and learns a little bit more about the restaurant. And the cabin gets one step closer to being sold. This chapter is called Fish and Visitors. More than anything, I wanted to tell Alex about the loot and how his great-grandmother didn't burn it. Maybe. But I didn't know if we were still friends, and I didn't get a chance to find out. My parents decided to keep us apart one more day since Amelia didn't have to work. Instead of sending me to Grandpa's, they told her to go fishing with me. And as soon as they left for work, she got out her phone and invited Matt Pat and his buddy Travis to join us. Now, 4 people casting lines at the end of a dock, it doesn't work. There are too many hooks in the air. Didn't matter though, because the only things Amelia the Princess wanted to catch were princes. And Travis, he seemed to like Amelia as much as Matt, and Amelia seemed to know it and love it. Gross. Matt and Travis were tripping over each other in a war of charm. Amelia said, I haven't fished in years. Her mini shorts showed off her tan legs, and her hair was pulled into a messy bun, like she'd only spent two seconds twisting her golden locks into this band. But actually, she needed a half hour in front of a mirror and gel and hairspray to make her hair look like that. Travis asked, want me to bait your hook? I just did my nails, so yeah, thanks. Travis blushed as he said, why don't you fish from the lawn chair and then you don't have to stand? Matt said, I've got the worms, I'll hook her up. Amelia smiled and relaxed in the lawn chair. Matt and Travis reached down to get the container of night crawlers, and in a kind of clumsy wrestle, the container fell, scattering dirt and worms across the dock. A couple of worms dropped into the lake, making a hook-free meal for fish. I got on my knees and scraped the contents back into the container. I held one worm between my thumb and finger and waved it hypnotist style in front of Amelia. You're getting very sleepy. Get that worm away from me, she smacked my arm. Just get it away from my face. I said, get your face away from my worm. Travis nabbed the worm from my fingers. I've got this. While I fished, Amelia, Matt, and Travis swapped stories about working at Clark's Pizza, and I tried to ignore them. The buzz of deer flies was more interesting than their stories. Then Grandpa and Alex walked down the slope with their fishing gear. Grandpa nodded hello as they set up their gear at the end of the dock, which was about 30 feet from ours. I yelled, hi! Alex didn't answer. He didn't even look at me. Alex was holding a different fishing pole, a new pole. They weren't very far away, but a fishing pole's pretty skinny. I dug through the bag with our gear and pulled out Dad's binoculars. Then I kneeled next to Amelia and peeked from around her chair so I could see. Amelia stopped talking to the boys. Krista, what are you doing? Bird watching. She rolled her eyes and continued a story about a cook who covered a pizza with peppers instead of pepperoni. With those binoculars, I could see Alex holding a Hunter Green Wild Pro Rod and Reel Classic Series. Grandpa had bought him a new fishing pole, and not just any old pole. The Wild Pro Rod and Reel had a graphite core coated in fiberglass. I'd seen them in Nan's shop. I remembered the packaging as though it were in front of me. The Wild Pro Rod and Reel offers greater control, fewer tangles, and superior performance. And here I was with my stinky old Struken rod and reel combo. Alex was too dumb to know the difference between a Wild Pro and a Struken. Alex couldn't even tell the difference between bobber movements, whether the line had snagged a fish or weeds. Grandpa put one hand on Alex's shoulder and the other on his arm, showing him how to swing back the line and snap it forward. The bobber landed with a plop about 5 feet away. I heard Grandpa say, "Not bad, kid. Let your wrist do the work. Your arm is just a guide." From the shore, a voice called, "Let go of the button just as you snap your wrist." I was about to yell the same thing, but Neil, his dad, said it first. He had been standing on the shore watching. Slowly he walked up the dock. He stood a few feet behind them, watching Alex get casting lessons from Grandpa. Then Travis's voice got my attention. In a whisper, he was telling Amelia, "You're so lucky you didn't have to work for that old guy. Such a crackpot." Then Matt Spatnat whispered, "There's this walk-in freezer in the basement from when they used to serve steaks and fancy food. That's where he hides his money. He doesn't trust the banks." Amelia snorted. "So he trusts cheap padlocks and an ancient freezer, but not a bank?" Travis quietly laughed. "Ed Clark's hangs on to his money tighter than a leech on a dog's belly." I wanted to push all 3 of them in the lake. "Stop it! You're mean." "Keep it down," Amelia said. "They'll hear you." I said, "Stop talking about them and their money. You don't know anything about it." Matt cocked his eyebrow. "Oh, and you do?" Amelia said, "Krista spends a lot of time with the Clarks. Maybe too much time." Matt asked, "What have the Clarks been telling you?" I mumbled, "Nothing." "Come on, Krista." Matt spoke slowly, like I was a baby. "We're not going to tell anyone. It's not like we'd steal his money. We're just curious. That's all." I said, "He said if anyone touches his money, he'll cut off their fingers and use the tips of them for bait." Amelia sort of waved me away with her hand and started talking about a mean customer. I looked over at Alex. He pulled his pole back and released the line in a perfect arc. Grandpa clapped and called out, "You're a heck of a student." I yelled, "You're a heck of a teacher, Grandpa." Neil nodded. I think he even smiled. Later that evening, a car drove up to the Clark's house. I pulled down the blinds on the windows so I could watch through the slats without them seeing me. Parents and 2 boys got out of that car. One boy looked exactly Alex's age. The other was younger. Neil and the parents talked while the boys ran toward the lake. Dad touched my shoulder. "What's up, sweetie?" "Who are those people?" "Well, that's Nan's son, daughter-in-law, and her grandkids. Nan arranged for them to visit so Alex could meet some kids from school. Neil and Sally want him to make some friends before school starts." I dropped to the couch and I crossed my arms. Suddenly Nan, my favorite person, felt like a traitor. I said, "Alex is being a huge baby. It was just a stupid tree." Dad said, Alex is a nervous kid and he was scared, Krista. I know Alex and Quincy were being mean to you and that is not okay. But the difference between what they did to you and what you did to them has an important distinction. They could have been hurt, physically hurt. Do you understand that?" "I do. But it seems nobody wants us to be friends anymore." "That's not the case," Dad said. "You both needed time to think, and tomorrow is probably the time for apologies, okay? You're still friends, I'm sure of it." Mom poked her head out of the bedroom. "Everybody get ready. We're going out for pizza. Sean Weller, he's bringing some people to look at the cabin, so we need to clear out." So that was chapter 14. And we will look at chapter 15 tomorrow when Krista and Alex finally make up and concoct a plan to find that money. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.